Your clients are your best source of marketing. Today, I want to talk about an issue which I think you'll all enjoy: how to generate a ton of sales, even if you are a nobody. Let me know. What do you think about this topic? I'm going to show you how it's done off of an example that I did just the last few days. And I think this is a step-by-step process that you should be able to follow as well. Okay. So I was thinking, there's so many people that offer online marketing, digital marketing, SEO, and think about it for your thing, coaching or self-help or overcoming divorce or whatever the issue is that you're helping people with. What is the way that you establish yourself and stand out? How do you build your personal brand? And most people will approach it where they think, you know what, I need to take pictures in front of a Lamborghini. I need to show people how much money I have. I need to do all these douchebaggy kinds of. But I thought, actually, there's a way that's more powerful, and I want you to see this technique. I'm going to show you step by step, and then I want you to ask questions along the way. But put your questions into the chat because we're going to repurpose this video. Okay. So I was at a mastermind, and the guy sitting next to me was a plumber. And I didn't really know if he was anybody or whatever. I was polite to him. It was a social media mastermind. And I looked him up, and I found out it was this guy, Roger Wakefield. And you can see he's got almost 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's got millions of followers across all the other networks. And if you do a search on YouTube for plumbing, you're going to see videos all about him. And in fact, if you're a plumber, you're going to know who this guy is. And in fact, I think if you just do a search just in Google just for plumbing, you're going to see a bunch of stuff related to him because he's made, as a master plumber, you can see all these ads for plumbers. As a master plumber, this guy has run a plumbing business, Texas Green Plumbing, for 30 some years. And if we look at his channel, you'll see that there are these ones that have millions of views. How to fix a running toilet. Does Green Gobbler even work? I don't even know what Green Gobbler is, but if you're a plumber, maybe you will. Plumbers that are scammers, right? Customers getting scammed by plumbers. All of these things about how to become a plumber. And he's become such a successful plumber that if you want to become a plumber, you probably learned how to become a plumber from him. And so he started a whole program that is helping people become plumbers and make $80,000 a year in the trades, and even more, 300 if you're a master plumber, and more if you can scale up your business in different ways. He's got a 4-stage process on how he does that. I found out that because he's learned how to build a brand and learned how to sell, learned how to tell stories, he's become an expert in YouTube. He's coaching other people that are influencers in other areas on how to become the Roger Wakefield of their industry. So at this mastermind, he says, "Hey, I need some help with SEO. Can you help me?" And I said, "Why, sure." So, we open up just like we do right here, look them up, Texas Green Plumbing, $40 million a year plumbing company. And, in the way we do SEO, we find, they rank on these keywords. Their links come from these different sources, all this kind of stuff that we do with an SEO audit. And of course, prior to this, he had paid for other people to do SEO. And I showed him what SEO was. And we spent 3 days together in Dallas. And if we look at my photos, I just came back from Dallas a couple days ago. You can see, I think my iPhone is full. It might not even be. No, it's still uploading some of it. So here we are. We're having chicken and steak with Roger. We had chicken fried steak at Babe's, if you ever been there. We categorized his knowledge and some of my knowledge, and we put it into a book. We literally just wrote this using material we already have with ChatGPT and wrote this book. You can see this was just a couple days ago, December 29th. We wrote this book, Are You Googleable? We decided, you know what? This is so cool. Let's go live on his channel, which has a lot of people. And let's make this video 3 days ago. Are you Googleable? And here it says the truth behind SEO that marketing companies don't want you to know. Yeah. So you do searches on plumbing and you'll see that Roger Wakefield just dominates on plumbing, right? Everything to do with plumbing, this is the guy. And then if I click on his channel, there's tons of these videos, millions of views you can see, right? But his most recent one, 3 days ago, was the truth behind SEO. And we talk about SEO from the perspective of of a home service tradesperson, someone who's certified to do what they do. And we say, if you hired a mechanic to fix your car and maybe they weren't quite so honest, how would you tell? Or if you got on a flight, how would you know if that pilot was, how could you trust that they weren't going to crash the plane? It's because they're certified. It's because they have a license. It's because they had to go through training. It's because there's a clear standard that everyone can understand and respect. But in the world of SEO, there's not one. So Roger came up with this idea in the middle of the night and he texted me and he said, I got this idea, Dennis. Are you Googleable? And I said, that's fantastic because that's so much better than SEO this and SEO that. Because the minute you mention SEO, it just implies that you're about to get scammed. It implies that the person trying to sell you services is a guru and isn't going to tell you their secret proprietary methods. They're just all kinds of stuff like that. So I met Roger for the first time, no, second time. First time was at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, and I met him in Dallas. This was 2 or 3 months ago. Let's see, November 2nd. So 2 months ago. And I knew that he was a lighthouse, which I'll explain in a moment, which is what you will want to do for yourself. You'll want to find a Roger, and I'll explain what those steps are in a second. But I thought, this guy's so cool. I'm speaking at this conference in Dallas, and he's in Dallas. Roger, you ought to come by. In fact, I want to pull you up on stage. And I pulled him up on stage and I interviewed him on how he was able to scale his plumbing business. And then for fun, I had ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT, so I'm here with Roger Wakefield on stage at DigimarCon. You know a lot about me. You know who Roger is. If we were to write a book together, what would the title be and what would it be about? And ChatGPT said, well, given that you're an expert in digital plumbing and Roger is an actual plumber, let's call it the mastery for plumbers, from pipes to clicks or something like that. It was something that blended this stuff together. And Roger and I, we looked at each other and we said, this is just live on stage. We said, that's an incredible idea. Let's do that. And so we did. And he bought the domains. It's not up yet. We're still working on, are you Googleable? We created a certification, the Google list. And you can literally see, like here in ChatGPT, I've asked it to, you can see it. I literally am using ChatGPT to do this. See, Roger and I are creating this tool that we're calling Are You Googleable, that will score businesses across their SEO, local service ads, their personal brand, pulling in data from these different sources. How do we do this? So I go back and forth saying, okay, what are the different components? How do we pull the data? How do we score it? Should it be on a 0 to 100 point scale or like a 1 to 5 scale? How do we show them the result? How much should we charge for it? I'm just asking it all these questions. And it comes in and answers it. And I even say, okay. And Roger also came up with the idea of people who want to be experts in this area. How do we determine if they're good? Well, if they go through our training, get certified. All right. Well, let's call them Are You Googleists, and let's create training for them to go through. And yeah, like here, you see, I asked it. I said, look, oops, I accidentally hit enter on it. Okay. So I said, let me go back up a little more. hope you guys are using ChatGPT to answer these questions, right? It's insane how good it is. All right, yeah, here it is. So I give it now listen. So I say, I want to create a prompt that we can give to anyone to be a Google list to show they understand the content factory and what we teach. And then, after a bunch of back and forth messages, ChatGPT will analyze you. So this is not me creating a bot, which I can create another bot in here, but I'm creating a prompt that people can take the text and paste it in to then see how they're doing. And then that way they share how they got rated by ChatGPT. So the where's it? ChatGPT. We're getting these responses in. Is it this one? Or is it this one? Okay, here's one that just came in. All right. This guy an hour ago just came in. Dennis Yu candidate assessment prompt output. So he's pasting the thing in. Actually, he did not include the prompt. He was supposed to paste in the prompt. So he fails on that. Like if you come to our group with all the Pakistani VAs and whatnot, digital marketing with Dennis Yu, and you look at the post that I just made. Yeah, here it is. If you're looking to be hired by us and become a Google list and be paid, because all these guys, they want to make $500 a month. That's the deal, right? If you're in Pakistan, the average income is $90 a month. So 500 is good if you're qualified. So I say, go ahead and paste this prompt in below. Paste the whole thing above, right? And then them giving the prompt to ChatGPT to interview them makes it so I don't have to build a learning management system. I don't have to create this whole quiz thing. I pay $1,000 a month already for various licenses to allow us to administer our academy. I mean, we still have all of these different courses, like 130 some courses on how to do digital marketing, digital plumbing, dollar day, like all this. Like for us to be able to host this and do all these things, there's different tools we're paying for. It's over $1,000 a month. But if you don't want to do that, and we have engineers that work just on this, which is a whole, thing to manage. But if you don't want to do that, literally, we're just saying, if you want to work for us, then paste this thing into ChatGPT and it will have you assess and then send the transcript when you're done getting interviewed by ChatGPT, send it to Stephanie at blitzmetrics.com. And so this guy here sent it in. And when I interview VAs or when we do this, we'll just say, it just takes one answer. You didn't paste in the prompt. Show active listening, which is one thing we teach. Active listening is like, if you mess up, explain that you understand what the issue is. Don't just say sorry, right? Don't just say, okay, sir, right? And that's it. Just like that, right? And we see a lot of people coming through here. And the more people, and I just posted this yesterday. You can see, here it is, yesterday, 23 hours ago. And already a ton of people are applying. You're probably getting some ideas off this, aren't you? Probably thinking there's more ways to use ChatGPT than just to like generate content. And now we've got all these candidates coming in that are self-scoring, and we're tuning that response we want them to go through. And right now, just to test these first candidates, I said, send it to Stephanie at blitzmetrics.com. There's no Stephanie, by the way. Stephanie's just a group email that sounds better than operations at. But soon we'll have them go to a second prompt or a second stage, or go to a landing page or other ways to be able to assess. And if they're not qualified, we don't want to just say, oh, sorry, you're not qualified. Too bad. Good. Best of luck in whatever you're doing. Instead, hey, it looks like you need some training in getting better English. You need to understand SEO a little bit better. You need to know, you don't seem to know about dollar a day very well. Come to our training about that. And then it can then prompt, it can then ask the AI, hey, can you tell me more about, oh, here's another guy. He pasted this thing here, right? You can see. I've been looking at all these outputs that are coming through. But then ChatGPT can explain, because it could say, hey, would you like to learn about dollar a day? Sure. And they can they can even have a voice conversation. Like, hey, explain to me what it is. And because ChatGPT knows so much about who we are, what would you say to a VA who is applying for a content factory role. Everything I'm doing here, you can do. I'll explain what it is in a minute. I'm just showing you what I've done just to prove that this thing's working. Who's applying for a content factory role, but is disqualified by their answers. Can you point them to some courses and articles and videos? I know that's not grammatically correct by me. And it knows who I am, but sometimes you just have to remind it, you know? And I say, please. And then here's the sentence I like to use in all of my chats. If you need more information, I'm telling the robot this for me to give a better response. Please ask me before providing it. Providing it. Okay. Okay. And I actually provided too broad of a thing on Content Factory, but I should have said like they're from Pakistan and they don't understand that content is about. No, actually, I don't even need to go that far. I mean, the AI already knows like what they understand, you know, how this person's doing. So you can see it's already found our academy. It's already found all these articles and videos and whatnot. And then it comes back of the response, which I didn't tell it how to format the response. I should have said one sentence responses, include the links to the things that you're referencing. That's okay. You know, every time you have a conversation with ChatGPT, you have a conversation, which is several stages. And here it is. And the beauty is if something's happened 3 times or more, like if VAs come in saying, let's just say, you know, they make the same mistake, I can create an article against that. I can take this answer here and you can see it's quoting, it has references for each of these items. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of courses that, okay. So I'm going to say that's a lot of courses. Could you make it easier to digest? Where so, and you always show the goal. So so that they are more likely to take specific action. Give them a time frame to complete. Don't be afraid to be harsh. I want to turn this into a blog post that, not blog post, I mean, it is a blog post, but an article that we send VAs who are disqualified. Oops, caps lock, disqualified for whatever reason. This is called building in public, what I'm doing, by the way, what I'm doing right now. I'm demonstrating. That's right, Mr. Dan, this black hat on. A path forward, 30-day action plan. Okay. And you can see it's still positive. I said, you know, you can be harsh. If you've been disqualified, then here's your 30-day action plan. Study these particular things, and here's links to them. And this is pretty good. I think I might just go ahead and copy this thing as it is and then paste it. I can copy it, paste it into a blog post. And there we go. And here's the biggest mistake I see. Here's the dead giveaway of people that are using ChatGPT. You know what it is? They come in here and they click copy. And when they paste it, it has all the quotes in it. So that's how you know. And I've been even here, like I'm interviewing these, I'm hiring people to like build websites and all these sorts of things. But you can see, look, this guy, this guy replied yesterday. We're trying to hire someone to convert a site from Duda to WordPress. And here he replies like this. This is clearly written by ChatGPT because the way the formatting is. I see so many of these people. You'll see like tons of these guys are, look at their replies. You can tell this is written by humans or by human because it has, you know, mistakes in it, which is okay. You don't want too many mistakes. Let's see if I can find this other one. There's so many of them. Is it this one? I think it might be this one. You can see it's like a ChatGPT answer. Anyway, so I can take this and I can say, I can make another post in here and I'll say, if ChatGPT says you are not qualified right now, then here is what you should do. Okay, this is explaining what it is. And I'll say one more thing. Here's links to all. Look at that. It's got links to all this stuff here. Isn't that cool? Also, make sure you have a conversation with ChatGPT that goes back and forth at least 10 times to demonstrate you have active listening skills. Okay. Here's what you should do. Okay. Okay. So I can do that. And there it is. All right. So to summarize, Roger Wakefield is a lighthouse among plumbers, meaning he is super well known among plumbers. All the plumbers know who he is. There's no need for me to build know, like, and trust or show that I'm credible. I don't have to be anybody. I'm nobody. But if you're a plumber, then you're going to know who this Roger Wakefield guy is. I provided services to Roger Wakefield, showing him SEO, fixing things on his site, fixing all sorts of Google-ish things like his knowledge panel. Like, we did all these things, and he was so impressed with the stuff that we did that he wanted to go live with his audience, which we did here, talking about what, here, I'll just play the very beginning so you can see what he has to say.
So I'm in here with 5 other people in Dennis.
Besides, now there's social media and apps and whatnot. So instead of just, so we can find it.
Good day to you, brother. Good to
Service pages.
LSPs. Okay.
All right, I can't find the exact part here, but you can see this is 2.5 hours. And what he says is he got burned for $47,000 from his last 3 marketing agencies. Now, he's very successful now, but before he didn't have a nickel to rub together. And this was, he put his dollars in the hands of some SEO expert that promised all this stuff. And, I'm not going to give you the whole sob story, but he was able to overcome all of this. And just by being a good plumber, because he could turn wrenches and clean pipes, he was able to build a successful business. And we opened his eyes into what it really means. And then one part of this, I hold up a scale and I say, imagine, Dan Hewlin, that I'm a bathroom scale optimizer. Okay. And Dan, you step on the scale in the morning, you look down at your feet and it says some horrible number that shows that you're obese, right? And you get mad at the scale and you say, I need to hire a bathroom scale optimizer so that instead of saying 300 pounds, it says, 190 pounds. So Dan, you come to me and I tell you, Dan, I'm a bathroom scale optimizer. I'm really good at optimizing the bathroom scale. You pay me $3,000 a month. And, there's the bathroom scale is very complicated. There's, it changes all the time. There's complex machinery inside. Sometimes, your weight goes up and down because you had a really big, like, New Year's party meal or whatever, and it goes up and it goes down. You're dehydrated. You're wearing more clothes. All these things that cause your weight to go up and down. But I'm a bathroom scale optimizer. So, if you give me 3 months, because, bathroom scale optimization takes time, then you're going to lose a lot of weight. What do you say, Mr. Dan Hewlin? Pretty good, huh? Pay me to be a bathroom scale optimizer? Why is that ridiculous? Why can't I just pay someone to be a bathroom scale optimizer? Because I have to do the work. No, but I don't want to do the work. I'm whatever it is that I do, I don't know anything about bathroom scale optimization. I'd rather just leave it to the experts of bathroom scale optimization. Well, you can have the best coach, the best technology, the best bathroom scale optimizer, but you still have to exercise. You still have to lose weight. You still have to sleep properly and have a proper lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. And the same is true for SEO. So in the same way, it's ridiculous to hire someone to do SEO. Why would you hire someone to do bathroom scale optimization for you? Now, there's things that you have to do that only you can do, like create content and trust, like I'm doing this with Roger, or you're doing this with your clients. But then if you look at the 4-stage content factory, which is the thing that we teach, not this one, not this one, this one, this one. The first stage is you have to produce all this content. So that's what I'm teaching. And the content comes from your clients that love you as well. And that's social proof, reputation management, good reviews. Dan posted this thing that he's generated nearly $1 million in merit-based scholarships this year, in the last year. And another one came in for 125,000, if I'm not mistaken. And that's all of this proof that's coming in that shows you're good at what you do, attracts more of the kinds of Judy Browns that you want to be able to get, right? So if you've got this proof that you're doing good stuff because you share your expertise, you're around a lighthouse. Judy Brown can be a lighthouse. You show the clients and you show your step-by-step, you publish a book, you wrap all this kind of stuff together, then really all you have to do, back to the bathroom scale optimization part, is you just have to produce this content. That part is on you. Because I don't know anything about coaching high income parents and helping kids get into schools and start, coaching programs, do public speaking and be entrepreneurial. Like I do kind of do. I guess I sort of do. But for most cases, I don't know anything about plumbing, right? About the actual plumbing, like pipes and things like that. You can see here that this thing has to be produced by you and your clients. You see what I'm saying? The other stages of processing that content, meaning running it through these different tools, and so it can then live as blog posts and social media snippets and a book and all. You see, some processing is necessary to turn this content library into these different assets, right? Sometimes you could just take a raw video and post it as it is. And I'll do that. I'll take a post that I make on Facebook and I'll just repost it to Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it might be, and then $1 a day to run ads against it so it lives forever. You have a post that does well, meaning it gets more than 10% engagement, meaning 1 in 10 people like or stay to watch for more than 15 seconds, like, comment, share, that kind of thing. Then that's a good sign that it's resonating with your specific audience if you've niched down the audience, right? So you can hire people to do stages 2, 3, and 4, virtual assistants, but stage 1 is yours. Now let's go back to what this means with the Lighthouse. And you could see Roger and I go on and on for 2.5 hours. I can't even believe that it took that long for us to go through this whole thing. But in it, he and I promote, see if I can find where he holds up the book. He holds up the book a few times. I hold it up. And we say, are you Googleable? And we've already pre-written the book because it's through ChatGPT. We took all the knowledge I have about digital marketing as it applies to plumbers, all these videos, transcripts, whatnot. And now, because he's promoting it to his audience of plumbers who all respect who he is, these plumbers are coming in and they want to know, are you Googleable? And our tool isn't quite ready, so we're doing it manually. We're using Vendasta to score people, but they're getting a report card on the different aspects of how are they ranking on maps? How are their reviews? How fast is their site load? How many keywords do they rank on? How do they do versus their competitors? How are they doing on local service ads? What is their average cost per click? What are all these things? And it's actually pretty helpful. We're just white labeling Vendasta for now while we're trying to get our tool ready. And this, when you have a lighthouse, someone who is super well known in the industry, and you convince them that you are the real deal, then they will sell to their audience. He's taking his reputation and trust that he's taken 30 years to build. And he's entrusting that with me. And I find that just incredibly honoring and humble that he would do that, because let's say in this case, if you're selling SEO consulting or implementation or building websites or any of these ranking and maps, all these guys look the same, right? But when you have the lighthouse in the niche that you serve talk about you, You have now won the lottery. Now you never need to market again. You never need to get on these calls. You never need to, as Dan Euland sometimes experiences, deal with these tire kickers or people that waste your time and make you mad because they know who you are. So I don't have this issue of people that no show or they say, oh, that's too expensive, or no, because they know that we're the best. And to even get my time personally or someone else on the team, they view that as a big plus. So that's what I wanted to share, the idea of a lighthouse. So what do you think about this? How does this apply to you? Do you have a lighthouse? And I want to know, like in the chat, what do you think? Is part of it confusing? Maybe you're thinking like, I don't really have my niche focused down enough, or I don't have a clear offer, or I don't have a clear, I'm just started out doing coaching. So I haven't done something really good for someone that they can talk about it and basically do my marketing for me. Where are you in this stage? And what do you think about what I just showed you? This is literally from the last few days. And we have built a whole business just around serving plumbers. And Roger's so well known that roofers and pest control companies and other, garage door all these other guys in residential services also follow him as well. And then he knows the Rogers of all the other industries. So we were hanging out eating steak at this fancy steakhouse. And he says, Dennis, I had this idea, the stuff that we're doing for plumbers and HVAC companies. I know Tommy Mello. I'm like, yeah, I know Tommy. Tommy's great. Tommy Mello's the #1 garage door guy. He does 300 million a year. He has a whole conference. What do you think if we were just to license this tool? Are you Googleable? And the quiz and the training, so someone can be a certified Googleist. What do you think? We share that with Tommy, and then he can do that too. And I know Tommy would say yes to that, right? So we can take it multiple steps further because we started with a lighthouse. So that's my answer for you. That's the best I got on how do you make a lot of money when you're not well known, right? Which is sort of a tongue in cheek thing, because anything like how to make $1 million in 30 days. But do you see how this is a completely different way of thinking about marketing and sales than the traditional? Well, I need to create a landing page with an offer and then spend all this money on ads to drive people to book a 15-minute discovery call with me. And then from there, I will try to qualify them, basically try to sell them on my package. And then a certain percentage of people will click on my ad. So maybe I get a lead, like an email address or whatever, for like $10. And of those, 1 in 4 will book a call. So it's $40 per call. And of those, 1 in 5 will sign up for my $5,000 package. So now my cost is whatever the number is, $200. So if I spend $200 to make $5,000, then that's, whatever the math, you understand that that's typically a sales math. Maybe I need to hire a setter, an appointment setter, and hire a closer, like a salesperson, because I don't want to sell. So I'm just going to hire a salesperson to do that part. And that way I just deal with the people who have bought. Or I'm going to do a webinar and then make it evergreen. Or I'm going to run Facebook ads to try to drive leads against this. Do you see how what I just explained about using the Lighthouse to co-create high authority content that people can follow step by step in a transparent fashion is a much cleaner, much higher level of class than I'm just trying to sell my services. I'm going to hop on anyone who wants to have a call with me. Like anyone, book a call with me. Go to your website, book a call. Well, if someone's constantly trying to book a call, and if they constantly are giving these long replies, and if in their email responses or text responses, they keep saying, well, let's hop on the phone. Let's hop on the phone. What does that tell you? Does that ring true with you guys? I have another friend who I'm not going to name, but he was complaining to me yesterday about, Dennis, I'm not making as much money as I would like to. Basically, he's not making much at all. He's only making a few thousand a month, but he's in a difficult space that's full of other people that do the same thing, that appear to all look the same. And he said, I need to just get another 50 calls right now. And that way, if I get 50 calls, then, I'll probably close like 3 or 4 of them, but then 2 or 3 will be a nightmare client. And, maybe one will be a good client. And I said, I'm not going to say his name. I said, you are on this treadmill where you're never going to make money because I mean, you'll make a few thousand, it's like hit and miss randomly, but you're constantly going to be in the mindset of a salesperson. You're going to be treated like a salesperson. You're going to act like a salesperson. You're not acting like an expert. If you're the best at what you do, it should be an honor to be able to meet with you and spend time with you. And those people who say, I can't spend $50,000 for your program, your answer, we're not right for everyone. You guys should say that in the chat. Put it back into the chat so you know how to say that, because you never want to let your feelings get hurt by a tire kicker. Well, I can find someone on Fiverr who can do that for $500. We'll go do that. We're not right for everyone. That's the answer. You have that niche. You show that you work with the Roger Wakefield of your industry. You don't say, oh, we try to help everybody. And even if you don't have any money, we help you large. No, no, never say that. Never say, oh, I just want to help everybody, whether you have any money or not. No, in fact, you explicitly say, we are not the cheapest. In fact, we're perhaps the most expensive. And there's a reason for that. And you're not ashamed of your pricing. You don't wait till the end of a 1-hour phone call and then you sheepishly tell them your price. Really? Have you ever done that before? Where you get on a call, you have a great conversation, they love you, and then at some point it's like, okay, well, how much is it or whatever, and you say the price, and then you're thinking like, oh, I've already spent an hour. It's a gamble now. I hope they don't recoil at the price, right? And sometimes they're cool. They're like, yep, cool, I'll wire it today. And sometimes like, oh, do you have payment plans? Or, oh, that's a lot of money. Well, I was really thinking you'd do it for like a few $100s instead of $50,000, right? Because, I can buy a book on that. I can buy YouTube videos on that for, free, basically. Yeah, we're not right for everyone. I'm not right for everyone. Feel free to say that. Because all of us here are selling high ticket as far as I know, right? Is anyone selling their time for $99? I hope not. So I wrote an article. We're not right for everyone. And I think I quoted one of my mentors, friends, Jillian. No, that's not the one. I can't even find the one that I want. Anyway, yeah, we're not right for everyone. That's what you do. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen anyway. You can't even see that. No, can you see it? No, I am sharing. Okay. Next to a competitor in New York, I am the most expensive expert in my space. Yeah. And you don't be ashamed of it, but you're also not boasting about it either. So I want to know in the chat, or if you want to unmute now, do you have a lighthouse? Do you need help finding a lighthouse? Do you not know what a lighthouse is? Are you not sure how a lighthouse might apply to your business? I see Mr. Jim Worrell's taking notes. Michelle's in a contemplative thinking mode. David's always paying attention. I can tell when he's happy and smiling, that means that it's flowing. Things are going in. And Katie's still doubtful that this thing is going to be worth it for him or not. What do you think? Okay. What is a lighthouse? Okay. There's 5 or 6 key components to a lighthouse. And I like to make sure that anything we talk about is something that we have blogs and videos and whatever, because if we don't have that answer, and you should feel the same way, if you've not published the answer to this, then people should and can reach out to you to have you explain, which you record on Zoom and then you turn it into an article. So I wrote this article, How to Generate Leads with a Lighthouse. What is a lighthouse? It's when you take someone who's so well known in an industry. They don't have to be the best, but preferably they're a Roger Wakefield, because he's the one. So well known that you've demonstrated that they're the one, that you've generated the results via a certain process that you have. And I have a 6-phase process, because maybe you have a 4-stage process, whatever it is. But we take this example and document how we did it. Publish it. It's not a secret. Nothing of what we do is not a secret on how to fly a 727, a secret on how to replace the transmission on a Toyota Camry. It's not a secret on what any of us do. And the clients who will pay you high ticket know it's not a secret. They're paying because they don't want to have to fudge with it themselves, right? anyone who's an info junkie or whatever that, you know. So find your lighthouse by look at all your clients. Which of them is one where you would love to have 20 more of the same thing? That means there's 20 of the same thing that are available out there. 20 more rich doctor moms that live in Singapore, whatever it might be. 20 more. If they're unique and there's only one of them, they can't be a lighthouse. So, we did some work for Starbucks, which was a lot of fun. Did some work on launching Frappuccino. That's why I love to drink Frappuccinos every day. It reminds me of how much money they paid us. But there's, I can't, I don't have another 20 Starbucks out there. I mean, we did stuff for Nike. You could technically say that Nike is a lighthouse for Adidas or like Hoka or whoever, but not really. So your lighthouse needs to be someone who's well respected in a niche. They have a large following, and large is dependent upon what that niche is. You've generated a result for them. So in our case, we helped them with their SEO and their website and their Google ads and all this. We packaged that up and then we published it so that all the other, and we co-created content together. Like you see with Roger and I, we co-created all this content together, which again helps us feed our book and our tool and the webinar and the landing page. It says, put in you're a plumbing and HVAC company, put in your URL and we will score you for $197, right? Roger Wakefield's a lighthouse because all the other people in the industry know who he is. And it wasn't that I was just hanging out and having dinner. It's that the very thing that I'm selling, which is, are you Googleable services, like making sure your phone rings as a plumbing HVAC company, is something that we've done over and over and over again. There's not a question. If you Google local service ads or knowledge panel or optimizing Google ads or how to do it, like you can see, I've got all the stuff. So having a lighthouse usually presupposes that you have a track record of execution. But even if you just have one client and that client's not a big deal, maybe they're not a lighthouse, but they could be your mini, like they could be a flashlight for you, to continue the analogy, right? But here's the beauty, and this is why I think Dan Euland's had such a breakthrough in his marketing. Your clients are your best source of marketing. Okay, I work with a lot of high net worth people, and they care about their privacy and this kind of thing. I get it. But they also care about making sure that their prestige is out there, and they want to. Who doesn't want to display an award? If you give someone an award, they're not gonna hide it unless it's like porn star of the year. If you get an award, I mean, I get awards too. And I was in Pakistan a month ago and they gave me this huge plaque, the Excellence Award, which I don't even know what I did to earn this award. Or maybe they just did it for anyone who was an American because they love Americans that come over. But when someone gives you an award, you want to share it. So, we had this crazy success with Ashley Furniture, these guys that do the furniture stores. And I printed at my expense this poster. You again unroll it out of the tube, and it said, "Congratulations to Mike Malaro of Ashley Furniture," and it showed these stats, all these beautiful charts, and happy pictures of customers and how their stats were improving. Colorful, of course. I mean, just you can use line charts and bar charts, but make them colorful. And what's he going to do when he goes to the office and he gets this thing? He's not going to throw it away like all the junk mail. He's going to pull it out, unroll it, be like, "Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Dennis." And he's going to put it on the wall in his office. And everyone who walks into the office is going to say, "Whoa, that's really cool. What's that?" "Oh, well, we really kicked some ass last year on our digital marketing. Look at how many more reviews we got. Look at what our ROAS was. Look at how much revenue we generated from Facebook, provably through the ad system." And then he can just smile and say, "See?" And so this is what we're doing with all of our clients. Maybe you're so busy focusing on delivery, or worse, focusing on trying to get more clients, that when you have success, you don't celebrate them. The method I'm telling you about is, if you do good work, you shouldn't, if you don't do good work, you shouldn't be in this call, then elevate those clients. Make these, it's not that you're trying to use them as a testimonial. It's not that you're trying to get them to say good things about you. Oh, working with Dan Eulin's amazing. I love Dan Eulin. Or Dan Eulin saying, yeah, let's get on a Zoom call. Hey, I want to get, you're a rich mom. I want to get you on a Zoom call so you can tell all the other rich Indian moms how awesome I am. No, you'd be a douchebag for saying that, right? But you're elevating them. That's what Dan does. He's elevating these students. He's elevating these clients. He's not at all ever saying, talk about me, please, please, I'm so good, right? So if you've generated results for someone who hopefully is well known, but they don't have to be as a starting point, then make sure that you have gratitude and you honor them, right? There's certain industries where maybe it's a little tougher. Like, I don't think anyone's here in cosmetic surgery where, you know, these celebrities, they don't want anyone to know they had fat sucked out of their butt, or, maybe you're a personal injury or a criminal defense lawyer and you get people out of jail for murder or something, right? So you don't want to say like, oh yeah, my client so-and-so got charged for murder and I got them off. But I don't think any of us are coaching people in embarrassing sorts of situations, right? Where you're providing a service. So as long as you're not in that category, then why not elevate the client? You see Dan Eulin posted today saying, congratulations, right? This one client, was a student, get $125,000 scholarship. That's amazing. Why not celebrate that? Right? Okay. So, okay. So Priyanka says, what if we're just starting out as a coach? Good. Well, this is the perfect time to be thinking about playing chess multiple steps ahead. Who's my lighthouse going to be? And you could even tell them. So if you're new, I've been doing this 30 years, so I can't play this card anymore. But if I'm new at coaching and I say, hey, be honest, don't pretend you're what you're not. Say, I'm new at coaching and I want to do such an amazing job for you that you're going to want to tell everybody about me. When you tell that to a potential client, they're going to say, wow, I really like Priyanka because I know she's got a reason to take really good care of me, right? She already told me so boldly that her goal was to make me a lighthouse. So she has an incentive because if she doesn't do a good job, I'm not going to tell her. If I don't get the result, she's not going to be able to talk about it and I'm not going to talk about it, right? So the lighthouse is the exact opposite of the kind of outbound, cold email selling, just hammer as many people as you can. I need clients. I need clients. Let's get on the phone. Let me try to close you. The lighthouse is the exact opposite. You're using the power of a client example to get all the other people who follow that client to want to do the same thing. Monkey see, monkey do. Right? That's the lighthouse. Does that make sense to everybody? Everyone put into the chat because I've been using this lighthouse over and over again. I feel like it's the secret technique in generating sales when you have good people. I feel like the lighthouse strategy is fantastic if you're a good person and you do good work. I never want to be a salesperson or douchebag. I could never overcome no. If someone tells me no, I would just run away and be like, I'm sorry, right? I feel like for introverts like me, who or other people who don't want to sell, because it's just maybe you're good at selling. I don't know. I just don't even like the idea of selling. I mean, I'm sure I could sell, but if I had to, but I just like the idea of all these people coming to me. The founder of RedX came to me yesterday, New Year's Day, and he had this emergency problem. His website lost half of its traffic because they hired some agency to build a website and it was a disaster, and all these other bad things where they tried to rip him off and charge all this money. So he came to me, and this is an example of a lighthouse. Some people call it word of mouth, reputation. Here, I'll show you. So, oh, look, Roger Wakefield, right? He and I are going back and forth. Now we're making interactive videos. You can see like we're going back and forth on all these different things, right? I'm at the airport. Let me know when you're picking, I can pick you up. Like we're going back and forth on these different things. And then what is the one? This one here. Look, this is yesterday. Hey, meet Curtis, who's the president of RedX. And they migrated to a website and the agency screwed him over. And they said, call me now. And remember, I've never met this guy. I don't even know who this guy is. RedX? What the heck is RedX? Is that like purple Y? RedX? I had to look him up to see what RedX was. RedX is a huge real estate site. for real estate agents that want to use software to generate leads and this kind of thing. And so we do this whole analysis, right? And we fix it, figure out what's going on, right? We had a call today and we figured out what to do. And this is an example of a micro lighthouse. Why? Because this guy, Connor, who's been a friend of mine forever, I've taken good care of him. He's basically Will Troop in 7 years from now. Okay. This guy, Connor, built his business. He came to me years ago. I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago. He came to me and he said, Dennis, I know we've never met, but I've been consuming your content for years. And I just feel like I stole from you because I've generated all this benefit. I've grown my business. I've done all this great stuff in Facebook ads and digital marketing and SEO and all that. And we never met. I just wanted to, and he came to an event that I was speaking at and he said, I just wanted to, say thank you. And that was like 7 years ago. And I said, you know, the best thing you do to say thank you is just make a 1 minute video talking about your story, talking about what you've learned, talking about what's happened so we can elevate you, right? I want you to tell your story so other young adults who are getting into the world of digital marketing don't fall for that Tai Lopez Lamborghini stuff. So they actually learn this is a trade, just like a plumber, electrician, or, there's a set of skills you have to learn. There's a bunch of complicated little tools and things you have to learn. And so he did. And in the last 7 years, he's grown and grown. I'm so proud of him. He started a SaaS company last year. And one of the folks that he knows is the president of RedX, as you can see. And then he referred that person to me. Did I pay a commission? No. I probably should take him out to a steak dinner next time I see him. And this Curtis guy, who's the president of this big company, the guy doesn't know who I am. I don't know who he is. But the thing is, a lighthouse is a large scale referral. You see how I'm activating referrals evergreen. I'm not looking at referrals like this last one I just showed you, where I'm counting on my customers going out of their way to then say, hey, you should go, hey, so-and-so, rich parent, meet Dan Euland, right? He coached my kid and maybe he can coach yours. That kind of referral is great. I'll take it when it happens. But those referrals, those kinds of referrals, you guys know, barely ever happen because people don't go out of their way. The lighthouse strategy, contrasted with what I just showed you, is when you co-create content together with that lighthouse. You interview them like on a podcast, right? Then you turn it into a book. You turn it into other kinds of derivative content. So all the other people that are just like that client you like, because you want more of the Judy Browns, then put it out there. If you don't put it out there, how is the universe or God or whoever going to give you more of what you want? You got to put it out there. More meat. Yeah, Rhonda, social proof and FOMO is a lighthouse. Yeah. And the FOMO means that they will pay. It's not because you're trying to like Kool-Aid them into paying $100,000 or whatever the high ticket is. It's that they see there's value. So the amount of value that Roger got from the stuff that we did together is easily high ticket, right? And all the other Rogers or people who have plumbing companies that do at least $5 million a year, they'll have no problem paying high ticket. Now, if you're a new plumber and you're doing $20,000 a month because you just passed your license or whatever, you're probably not going to have the kind of money to do that. Our stuff's going to look expensive to you, right? But you guys know for what you do, there's no such thing as too expensive, right? Expensive relative to what? To where they are. If you have the right client, 100 grand is nothing, right? And 100 grand to someone else is, like even $1,000 for some of these other people. It's just beyond their ability to pay rent. You don't want to try to convince those people. Make sure you know who you're talking to, right? All right, let's open it up to some questions. I've done too much talking. I want to know what you guys think or comments. Was this helpful? This is what was on my mind. I've been thinking about this topic. I'm like a cow that needed to be milked. I just had to get this off my chest. I had to tell you this. What do you guys think? You want to unmute? Say some words? Yeah, it's very helpful, Michelle. You guys don't speak up as much, huh? Normally Americans are more loquacious. Like when we do this in Asia, they tend to want to sit there absorbing it. They love it, but they're just not going to say anything. Very helpful, says Scott. What do you think, Mr. Dan? I was saying a lot of this for you. That's why I was using your examples. Can you unmute?
Yeah, I just unmuted. Looks like Dave, I want to be respectful to David, who's got his hand up.
Okay.
But
You
yeah, I mean,
talk and
this
then
is
we'll take David.
okay. Yeah, I mean, this is incredibly helpful, and thanks for the shout outs today. Yeah, I think I just put it into the chat. One of the things that I've been doing more by accident than intention, but more by intent than accident since I started working with you and Will, is celebrating my clients, my mentees' successes. And there are many. And they don't have to be gargantuan successes, even the micro successes, but my my mentees and their parents, they project themselves into those stories, right? They
Yeah.
see themselves in their stories. It's aspirational, it's inspirational, and I love doing it. I mean, I get so excited about doing this. Dennis, when I
You're a great
celebrate.
cheerleader, and that's what ups your vibe because everything that happens in your business life is either a withdrawal or a deposit into your bank account of like how happy you are, right? And anytime you have like a bad prospect call, somebody wastes hours of your time, that's a withdrawal. And every time you succeed or you celebrate the success of a mentee, that's a deposit. So
Yeah,
if your self-esteem is feeling a little bit low, figure out, well, if it's low, like your bank account balance is low, well, it's because there've been too many withdrawals and not enough deposits, right? So what are the
absolutely,
things that provide mental, I don't mean financial deposits, but provide deposits to your self-esteem?
absolutely. And case in point, you mentioned the $120,000 thing. So one of my four seniors today was notified that he got a $120,000 merit-based scholarship to one of the schools to which he's still waiting. So this brings the number up to almost $1 million, just south of $1 million for four kids over the last 12 months who've received merit-based scholarships. And it's just such a huge thrill for me. And that number will go over 1 million. But it's who cares that Dan Hewlin got 1 million? It's these kids have gotten it. And I wanted to address
Exactly.
Trisha's question in the chat because it's a very important question relative to what you were talking about, Dan. Dan, where do you celebrate those successes? Dennis, maybe you could talk about how those successes are repurposed across social media.
Why don't you talk about, I want to hear what your answer is.
All right, all right. Hi, Trisha. Nice to meet you. So I've been working with Dennis and his charge Will for a while now. Dennis and I have known each other for a long time. We actually met in
Yeah.
person in May
Yeah.
after many, many years. So I have my company's called Elite Student Coach. So there's an Elite Student Coach website, of course, and then there are both the Dan Hewlin and the Elite Student Coach professional pages across social media, various social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, what have you. So Trisha, to answer your question, those are celebrated in real time. I think you'll actually see that one and then another one coming up soon. Chloe Brown. So those are celebrated in real time to the degree that we can pull those out. So in the case of one of my kids, Chloe, who's a sophomore at a major school, and she's a scholar athlete and just killing it. And she started a new business. Her GPA just went up from a very respectable one to just slamming A pluses all across the board. And that's a big deal. That's a huge hockey sticking up. So again, it's a great story, not only because I'm so proud of her, but it's the work we've co-created, right? It's this co-creation process. And we met last week on a group call with Dennis and Will. And so people pick up on the vibe of that, I think, Dennis, right? I mean,
The key is the vibe. Yeah, I'd love for you to focus on that because a lot of people think it's the exact words that are being said or how well it's being filmed or whatever. But the vibe, why is the vibe so important for high ticket, for elite coaching like what you provide?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked. So here's the thing. So when I'm interviewing and we're about to come out with my very first book. I'm so excited about it later this month. But the book is not because God knows we do not need another How to Get into College book. We don't. But the book is going to be each one of my mentees, not all of them, but some of my mentees and their moms. I think we've got 5 moms and 9 mentees or something are going to be chapters in my book. And I've interviewed all of them. And to Dennis's point, um, you can see how much fun we're having together. We're laughing, and it reflects the nature of the relationship, Trisha and everybody else. So when I think prospects see you as a lighthouse, and I'm a micro lighthouse, I guess, and a flashlight. I don't know, I'm getting brighter. But when they see you relating to and working with your mentees, They're like, this is what it's like to work with that person. This is the dynamic of working with that person. It's also a great way to exclude, because if there are people who want to
Yeah.
see me as a, guy dressed up with an ascot in a masterpiece theater chair with a roaring fire, I'm not the right guy. But if there are those who want to see me like laughing and relating and celebrate, then that's a magnetizer. So it serves multiple purposes. It also
Yeah.
just helps that I'm just having so much freaking fun with it along the way, and working with Dennis and Will. So the process, it creates momentum on a bunch of different levels. My level, the level of my mentees, and also the level of the people who are watching it and resonating with that, to the idea that, you have to have multiple exposures to these messages.
So Dan, why do we not want to collect testimonials, or why is testimonial a bad word?
Yeah, testimonial is all about like, you. Hey, Dan's such a great mentor. I da 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 da. Because it's not about me. I mean, once in a while in these interviews, they'll mention me, but it's really about them. It's their successes and I, I, I'm empowering them, right? Nobody really cares about me. I mean, yeah, do they want to know where I went to school? And yeah, that's important, but only to the degree that, because we're creatures of self-interest, only to the degree, and there's nothing wrong with that, but only to the degree that I can empower them and their kids. So yes, in that conversation, if my background comes up, terrific. But nobody really cares. They want to know, what was it like for this kid, for this mom, for this family, and how does that relate to me?
Mm-hmm.
And in showing that this is their story, not my story. So a testimonial, I mean, if you have a testimonial, it's nice to, my head on testimonials, Dennis and I have talked about this a number of times, is don't go hey, James is such a great guy. Wow, I like working with him. It's flat and beige. If you can show a change, if you can show a delta from went to point A to point B, that's great along the way. But even better to embed that in these interviews that you're doing, in my case on Zoom with my mentees, but those are being repurposed into book chapters and
Yep.
blog posts and sound bites and shorts and all kinds of stuff right now.
Yeah.
So
And you're telling a real story. Testimonials are weak and vague. I really like working with Dan. He's a great coach. I would recommend Dan to anybody who's looking to hire a coach. Who's going to believe that? You can tell it's like forced. It's like some hostage who's being forced to read this thing. No one, that doesn't have the vibe. It doesn't have a story. And to Dan's point, a story is where this person was in the situation. Imagine you're like a script writer in Hollywood. Someone was in this situation. They had this struggle. And then they went through this this process together with Dan as their coach. And now, ta-da, we can all celebrate where Rocky wins, you kill Voldemort, whatever the thing happens at the end, right? You're telling a story, a journey about how they went from
right.
here to here via this process. And everyone understands a story subconsciously. When you tell the story off of the specifics of what one person's journey, everyone else can identify. Like, think about your favorite movie or your favorite book where you identify with that character and how they went through this journey. So you naturally, subconsciously are, it's like us rationally and consciously understand there's these words that are coming at us of what's happening, but the subconscious part, the vibe and the trust that's being built, which is kind of hard to measure, but it's very real. That's really what we're building. And by telling the story many times with other people, by sharing that story on many channels was it Kathy or Krisha? Who is it that asked what channels, right? Yeah, Trisha asked, where do you
It's to show
celebrate?
you.
You put it in multiple places. So Dan wants to reach these wealthy parents. Wealthy parents, they're not on TikTok, okay? They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. They're on the old people social networks like me. I'm almost 50.
MySpace.
Yeah, like that. So you need to be where they are, right? So Dan's not trying to be a TikTok celebrity, but depending on where your audience is, maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's YouTube. I don't know, Reddit, wherever your audience hangs out, that's where you're going to put the content.
The last piece I'll say is that these interviews are very unstructured. They're very organic, and very often when talking with the moms and the kids, I'll ask them, just when they talk about a problem that they've hit, I'll ask them to lean into that, like lean into the fear, lean into the pain. What was that like for you?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of meta going on here, right? There's a lot of fractal geometry going on here. When
Yeah.
they lean into that, again, the parents are thinking, well, this is what it's going to be like to work with them. But this is how this kid achieved that result. And so in my field, the college and grad school admissions, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's like a different area of that, but they're erasing that fear, rather leaning into a fear rather than running away from it or trying to package it and put it in like in a box. It's just a different way of doing it. So it's about different. It's that story, and people lean into the stories. We're just hardwired for stories, you know.
Yep.
And they're fun. They're fun to tell.
To Claire's question, yes, we call them success stories, but to make it even clearer, you say how so-and-so achieved this result via this particular technique. And that's what we call the XYZ model. The XYZ model is also mirrored in your bio, mirrored in your LinkedIn headline, mirrored in your Facebook little one-liner, who you are, saying, I help X achieve Y, the result, via Z, which is my process or program, okay? So your stories show over and over again that you are true to the XYZ that you say you are. You understand the XYZ, right? You have a common XYZ. You have it everywhere to be consistent, not just because you're trying to get a knowledge panel. I help X, be very clear on who that niche is. Achieve Y, get into the school or get $100,000 in scholarships. Like, be very specific on the result. Via Z, my 6-stage process. And don't make the Z my coaching or my help. That's some vague thing. Make it a specific program process, ideally X number of steps. Okay. Then it's very specific. And you need to go to your Facebook and your LinkedIn and your website and make sure it says, I help X achieve Y via Z. And then when you collect all the success stories, those are all just authentic demonstrations that this is who you are in high fidelity. Yeah. That's all these people I've met with Dan, these folks, the XYZ is consistent. It's just remarkably consistent. And the people, let me tell you, if for anyone who hasn't sold high ticket before, the people who are high ticket, they don't just want the best. They don't just want someone who's, well known or has a book or all those high authority items. The secret fear of high ticket, and this is the difference between high ticket versus people who just pay whatever the average price is they will pay 10 times more to not fail. They need assurance. They just, not that you're making these big promises at the top. Oh, yes, you'll win. I guarantee you I won't crash this plane. I'm a good pilot. I've been using Microsoft Flight Simulator and watching YouTube videos. Promise you I'm a really good pilot. No, they're not looking for the assurances, but they're willing to think about this in your life. They're willing to pay 10 times more because that person isn't that Dan Ullin is 10 times better of a coach or his advice is 10 times better. No, I'm sure. I mean, I think he's better, but is he 10 times better? No. But people will pay for that extra like less likely to fail, or this is, I've chosen the best surgeon for my heart surgery. I'll pay 10 times more for that. Even if it only brings me from a 95% chance of success to 98%, I'll pay 10 times more. Would you pay, if you were a billionaire, would you be willing to pay 10 times more for a surgery where you have a 95% or 98% chance of success instead of 95? Would you? Of course you would. And that's what's going on in high ticket, isn't it? You don't have to be way, way better. So the Lighthouse model is how you get that extra little piece. That's what they're looking for.
I think it's that old adage that people pay a lot more to flee from pain than they do to pursue pleasure, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And I think I guess what I'd add to that is there's even, if you dial it up to the proverbial Spinal Tap 11, that when they'll pay even a little more to realize that pain is actually an integral part of the process, that you help them lean into it in a way that's very different.
And it's not that Dan Ullin is playing on the fear of the mom that their kid's going to turn into some drug addict who's lazy and just plays video games all day long, right? But that fear is still there. Like, I'll do anything for my kid, right? So are you tapping into the pain? People are hiring you for coaching for whatever, but are you tapping into what happens if they're not successful, or they don't hire you, or they hire some other coach who's not as good as you? Tap into that pain the right way, not through, oh, well, might screw up, or I'm not, I'm not saying rub the fear. Use the Lighthouse model. The Lighthouse model is how you signal to them in a dog whistle frequency that most people can't hear way that they should pay more for you, right? Because all these other high ticket people have done the same, and they want to follow like these other people they respect, right? Does that make sense on the Lighthouse model? I saw some people seemed a little confused. I want to make sure you understand the power of the Lighthouse, because this is going to change your business when you realize this? Okay. All right, Mr. David, you've been patient.
Thank you. I feel like I've got a private audience with you. What a nice
You
way to start
do.
the year. Yeah, your consultation costs big bucks.
Well,
Anyway,
if you go to my site and see how much it is, it's a lot. Well, for some of you, it's not a
Happy New
lot, but
Year to
for
everyone. May
yeah,
we
Happy
be
New Year.
prosperous as can you. No, my question is this. I absolutely, in the last 3 years, have had the most acute case of FOMO. I've probably got 20 different programs in 5 different fields, if you will. So most recently, uh, this is a cry for help, Dennis. I just completed an online digital marketing course. Now what?
Oh no. And how many of these have you gone through?
This is the first on digital marketing. I've got
Okay.
e-com, I've got real
Okay.
estate, I've got coaching.
All right. You're a course junkie. So you just got to
Yeah,
admit it.
course
The
junkie
first step is to admit you have the addiction, right?
and I've got full notepads and an empty bank account.
Oh
I'm trying to
no.
invert
All
that.
right. All right. Well, this is what typically happens. We see that, yeah, you know about. I don't need to tell you what that is. You are self-identified. So
Yeah.
David, first step,
Yeah.
what is your XYZ?
Uh,
I would spend more time on that than like trying to get better digital marketing or e-commerce or what. You do not need more skill, okay? Freaking
Right.
ChatGPT can answer your questions already, all right? This is sad for me because I prided myself on being super, super knowledgeable in all things related to digital marketing. Now you can just ask ChatGPT. So like what's the benefit of my 30 years of experience?
Yeah.
Very little, but the relationships count for everything. So let's go back to what's your XYZ, David?
I'm looking to make money. I don't mean to be greedy, but
Well,
I'd
of
like
course,
to have
everyone wants to make
cash
money, but
flow.
no
I'd
one's
like
going to
to have
hire you
cash.
for that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to choose
Well,
David because he told me he needed to make money.
so what I've done initially last year, December, is connect through the Chamber of Commerce and gone to some of those events, live
Okay.
events. And I met some interesting people, and they all have marketing needs, but I'm not so sure I want to help florists sell flowers, but
There's nothing wrong with that, but FTD's got that one covered. So you don't want to compete on a nationwide level. What I'd
okay,
recommend for you
yeah,
is get very like if you've been going the general kind of digital, social, e-commerce, SEO, whatever course junkie route, it's the more courses you consumed, actually the worse it is for you because
yeah,
the more things you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
look at to confuse you. And I'm not saying any piece of advice or whatever is not good. I'm sure all the stuff you've consumed, it's all good if you do it, but choose the one thing. So
oh,
if you want to do local, for example, if you're doing the Chamber of Commerce thing because you like to network and meet people and you're old
oh, yeah,
fashioned like me, I like to meet people,
yeah,
choose one kind of business that you really like. So maybe like veterinarians and just stick with veterinarians or I wouldn't choose florists because that has a national e-commerce component. I'm not saying you can't succeed in e-com, but for those of you who don't make $50,000 plus a month, or even like 10,000 a month, I
yeah,
would highly recommend going into local services because when you service a garage door person or a plumber or a chiropractor or whatever, they're only competing against other plumbing HVAC companies in that city. It's very easy to win. It's very easy to drive results. Because look, the amount of money you make, David Hanlon, is in proportion to the amount of value you create. And
yeah,
we know that with just a little bit of work for a plumbing HVAC company by fixing their local service ads, fixing some of these SEO issues, fixing their website not working properly, that'll give them another 10, 20 book jobs, which is another $20,000, $30,000 a month. And you can easily charge $3,000 a month for that, right? Local. Because when you have the plumber, for
yeah,
example,
yeah,
then guess what? How many plumbers are there in America? There's 300 DMAs, direct marketing areas, like regions, like the San Francisco area, the LA area, the New York metro area. There's 300 of these in the United States, right? And every one of them has lots of plumbers, lots of chiropractors, lots of, garage door, window cleaning, pest control, you name it, every single yellow page category. The thing is, if you do it for one plumber,
Mhm.
you can have another 20 plumbers, and that's another 20 people paying you $3,000 a month,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
The local is made for Lighthouse. It's the best example of Lighthouse because there's so many other people that have the exact same situation. So think about how that fits into the XYZ model. I help plumbers generate more phone calls through Google Ads via my 6-stage process, $1 a day, whatever, right? It's replicable. And you do it for that one local, that florist, whoever, real estate agent, whatever, you do it for that one, you can do it over and over again and share the story of how you did it for that one. But David, I've seen your chicken and egg situation many, many times and other Davids. You have so many things that you can look at that it's hard for you to narrow down to just pick one because you feel like you're limiting yourself. Oh, but I can't say no to this or this or that. No, you have to.
Yeah.
The way to get past that is you have to pick one. If you don't pick one, you have no starting point. Just like you
Yeah.
want to run a marathon for the first time and you're looking at all the marathons there are across the United States, and there's the Florida, Disney World Marathon, there's the LA Marathon, there's the Rock and Roll Marathon in Scottsdale, and you end up never running a mile. I'm just saying, look, I know you want to run a marathon. Why don't you run a mile first? Why don't you just do that just as a starting point? So my recommendation to you and anyone else who is not making 10, 20,000 a month, which is easy. I don't mean to insult anybody who's, making less than 20 grand a month, but man, it is so easy if you start with local. You follow me?
So that raises the question. I'm going to use a white label company because I don't want to get lost in the weeds trying to design copy.
Don't start with white label. You have to
Don't?
do it yourself first. Then,
Really?
yeah, you know why?
Why?
Because
Well, of
you
course.
have no way of holding the white label company accountable. And the majority of white label companies, they give a good pitch and it sounds good, but they don't deliver. They deliver garbage, and you have no way of determining that, especially in digital marketing. I know. I coached thousands of digital agencies,
Okay.
and they are almost all incompetent. And the white label ones are really bad.
Ooh,
I know the big ones. I'm not going to name them, but they're bad
wow.
because they're hired. You know who hires white label digital companies? People that don't know anything about digital marketing, and they're the perfect victims, right?
Yeah. I don't want to be a victim.
Now you're just a sales channel for someone else. And you have no control of the quality. You're the fat
Right.
man getting the shoe shine. You have no idea.
Right.
I could tell you all sorts of lies, David, and you wouldn't be able to tell if I was telling you the truth.
You're right. That's true.
You need to learn how, but it's so difficult. I'm just going to hire a white label company. That way I can just work on the relationships and, I'll be like the sales guy at the car dealership and the mechanics are in the back. And, that way I don't have to learn about all the tools and get my hands dirty, because
Yeah,
after all,
exactly.
this white label company made all these big promises and said they could do it. So I'm definitely going to trust whatever they have to say.
So let me ask, how would you price it? I mean, do you
You
have a
price it
formula?
relative to the value that you drive. So if you're driving an extra
Yeah.
50,000 a month, you can charge $5,000 for that. You can typically charge 1/10 of the incremental value that you drive, but you better be able to prove what that value is. Now, if you're selling something that's softer, where it's some kind of coaching or counseling or whatnot, then it's relative to, I get flamed when I say this, but I'll just tell you because we're being honest here, right? We're all friends. It's relative to how much money they have. Okay. So you want to sell services to wealthy people, right, Mr. Dan? Look, we want to help everybody. That's why you put all your content out there for free. That way anybody can just consume it for free. How can anyone argue when you put all your stuff out there for free? But if people want to talk to you, your time is valuable. Your knowledge is free. Just put it out there. Anyone can consume it, watch the videos, read the articles, consume social media. But if they want your time, which you can never get back, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Coach rich and
But
confused people. That's right, Roshon. All day long. Yeah. Lydia, I help frustrated senior patients and their family. I help frustrated, wealthy senior patients and their families quickly navigate the healthcare system. Why? Because if they're not wealthy, then you're just like another, VA basically, taking charge of their care and their 7-step program. Oh, I like that. Care Compass. Is that XYZ enough? Yes. So Lydia, do you have some examples of other families where they can share, you know, what it's like dealing with the healthcare system, and do they have some tips to share? You know, like how did they overcome, not as a testimonial, but like Dan Hewlin, look at what he's doing, sharing stories, sharing expertise, elevating these clients, right? Yeah. And the nightmares will work too. Play both sides. Don't only do nightmares, because then that's just negative. So if you're negative Nancy all the time, that's no good. You have to balance both. Of course, nightmares scare people.
Thank you so much for addressing that, Dennis. I really appreciate it. I got to do
Yeah.
some more thinking and some roll up the sleeves and get dirty, which
Yeah.
is key, I guess.
So you should make your New Year's resolution, but a January 2nd resolution on
One
how you're
other
going to.
question. I'm really interested in a network marketing company that I just came across, and they sell like patented health and nutrition supplements.
Okay.
And a lot of people do that, right?
I know a lot about that market. I would stay away for that for now,
Stay away.
because it's too competitive. Yeah. And
Okay.
this is no slam against MLM or
Okay.
supplements. I take a lot of supplements too.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right, I'm
but
done.
just,
Thank you so much.
yeah. And until you're a pro and you know how to build audiences, I just wouldn't step into those categories. There's also PPC, porn, pills, casino. That's in the same category of difficulty. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a
Thank you,
great day.
David.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. So I think maybe we'll take one more. I know we're at almost an hour and a half. Appreciate all you guys. I just want to make sure I'm here just because I want to make sure everyone has value, right? Jim, I know you got to run in a second. Hey, just for fun, can you hold up your hands? Hold it. And if you got value, 1 out of 10, 10 being amazing, and 1 being this is the worst thing I've ever experienced. Okay. Is anyone holding up less than 10 fingers? Because if anyone is, then now's your time to say something. And I'll totally, you know, if you say I suck, then okay, it's fine. But I want to help you, right? I'm not being paid for this. I'm doing this because I want to see you win. I retired 20 years ago, you know. I'm doing this because I want to see you win. Yeah, thank you, Dan. If you are confused or you don't know what to do or you're not succeeding, it's your fault, because you need to ask. If you don't ask and you're sitting here in these calls, what the heck are you doing here? Please define and give examples of wide. Oh, so you're saying white label company. A white label is when someone else is providing the service or making the thing. So, you know, when you go to Costco and Costco has toothpaste and orange juice and toilet paper and batteries, like, do you think Costco's making batteries and orange juice and toilet paper? No, they literally are taking Tropicana orange juice. They're telling Tropicana, hey, next to your orange juice, make the Costco orange juice, but make it a little bit bigger or make it somehow cheaper, and just like make it a little bit different, but make it cheaper so I can put the Costco Kirkland brand orange juice. So a white label company is when you, like David was mentioning, when you hire or sub to some other company that's actually providing the service. And while that can be very attractive because they can scale and that's their expertise and that allows you to focus on clients, in the world of coaching and digital marketing services, it rarely works because it's high churn, it's low quality. They tell you they can do it at $300 per client. You mark it up and sell it at $2,000. That seems very attractive, doesn't it? And white labeling works very well in the product space. But when it comes to white labeling services, imagine you want to be a surgeon and you open a hospital and you don't know anything about surgery and you don't want to go through medical school. So you just hire a white label company to do your surgery at your surgery hospital. A, you don't have the expertise. B, when your patients start dying, you have no way of, like, you don't know. And they'll say, oh, it's because they came in, they were unhealthy, they were going to die anyway. You have no control over the core of what you have. So nothing wrong with hiring white label companies. And we white label a couple things. But we have done it ourselves over and over and over, where we understand the process, and thus we can control and maintain the quality when it's being, when you outsource, that's a white label basically, right? White label means you are controlling the customer relationship and taking the money, and then you pay someone a piece of that, usually a third, to do the work, but you're in control of the results. The customer is trusting you to deliver the result. And so you can't blame the white label. You understand with the white label, they have no culpability, even though technically you're their client. It's your name on the line when you're selling, whether you do it or you farm it off to a white label company. So if you care about your reputation, do not white label unless you know how to do it yourself first and hold them accountable. Because what happens when they screw up? And they do screw up a lot, right? Just avoid that whole nightmare. I can tell you story after story. Just trust me, okay? Trust me on that. Do not, you will have heartache going down that path. It sounds so attractive. I get it. Just like all the you can, get rich quick by next month stuff on the internet. Like, just don't fall for that. All right, crazy money making lady. Oh no, wait, we have Claire first and then crazy money making lady.
Hi, funny name, crazy money making lady.
She's manifesting.
Just a quick question. Basically, my main challenge right now is the X.
Okay.
I know what the X is. It's just that it's so wide and
Okay, so give us your best guess and let's refine it.
Okay, so basically business owners, organizations, anybody that has a team, a manager, a leader, at any level of an organization, period. Or it could be just the organization itself. Basically, we provide services to skyrocket team productivity and boost
Okay.
motivations when it comes to
Okay.
teams.
Okay.
So how do I call this person? Is it a
Oh, I got
team
an easy
leader?
answer
Is it
for you,
a,
Claire.
you know?
Easy. So if
Yeah.
you follow the Lighthouse model that we were talking about, which Mr. Dan knows very well, then do you have an example of a team, of a company that you have done this for, that you would like to have 20 more of the same kind of company? That would just be an amazing Christmas present to have 20 more of that same kind of dream client. Do you have one?
Yeah, many.
Good. Well, you have many, but choose one. What's the best one? That there's many of them. It was easy for you to generate the result. They're very happy. They're willing to talk about how they did it. What industry was that in?
This is okay. Pharmaceutical, I guess.
Okay.
But they're
Well,
not willing to
pharmaceutical,
talk about it.
that's high ticket, isn't it?
I know, but that's the thing. They're not willing to talk about it openly. They'll talk about it. They've left testimonials. They've, gave me authorization to share a couple of, case studies and
Great.
stuff like that. But they're not the ideal. They would be the ideal customer, but they're not very open about it. I guess, challenge right now is the actual organizations that would be willing to share their story, and it's so different. I mean, the industries are all industries are my customers because we work with people. People can work in tech, they can work in pharmaceutical, they can work, I can go on. But you know what I mean? So we're in the business of team connection, team motivation, people, human connection. So it's hard for me to target that manager or team leader when sometimes they're not even the ones making a decision on who's gonna hire somebody like us, because it's their boss, and if their boss doesn't see the value, even though they do, again, it's just very frustrating.
It is. I get it. So bigger companies, especially in healthcare, in legal, in certain industries, tend to be more red tape around it. And the bigger they are, the more likely you're going to have that sort of thing. So several things. One, the fact that they've already allowed you to talk about all of that means that, and you have these examples, allows you to say, I help managers at pharmaceutical companies be able to scale the productivity of teams. Because just doing that alone allows other people to know that they're potentially a fit inside your wheelhouse. I get your whole thing like, oh, but there's people in every single industry. Therefore, I mean, any company could be a nonprofit. It could be a gas station. It could be like, yes, that's true. But that's the classic entrepreneur mistake of someone who can't scale, is they say, yes, but if I say no to this one industry, I mean, my technique could work in this industry and that industry. And so that mindset, I get that mindset. I've been explained this mindset 1,000 times. That is the mindset that prevents you from growing, because that whole like, yeah, but I can serve them, and that I just want to keep it open to everybody because I can serve anyone on the planet. That's the very thing that's limiting you. I know it seems like a catch-22. It seems counterintuitive to say, I serve pharmaceutical companies. Managers in pharmaceutical companies and improve their team productivity via this particular technique, right? You have to do that. If you don't, then anyone who looks at your LinkedIn, anyone who looks at your content, sees the stuff about teamwork and productivity. I mean, what are you trying to be, Stephen Covey, right? You end up like people will look at that and say, she's not a fit for me. That's not relevant to me. If you don't establish relevancy, it doesn't matter how good your programs are or whatnot, right? So you're saying you have many, many lighthouses. Pick one. Maybe it's not pharmaceutical. Pick another one where you can build this personal rapport and vibe like Dan has. Like you saw with me and Roger Wakefield, we're like good friends, right? We're hanging out. And it never once felt like we're, pushing stuff. I mean, isn't it the ideal? Like you're having fun with your clients and you're making money together and that attracts other people and it never feels awkward or you never feel like you're being mistreated by someone trying to like not return your calls or like squeeze you down on the price. Like there's none of that. So besides pharmaceutical, what's your next one? What do you have another one? You have
Tech.
many. What's the next one?
Tech,
What about tech?
tech,
What?
IT companies, tech companies.
Okay, so IT companies, that's a ripe area, but then IT is a whole thing unto itself. So what's a niche within IT? Because there's different ranges of IT. There's different sizes of IT.
Yeah, I guess it's
You
hard
have a
for me to
classic
put my
niching issue, right? The issue you have, I know you might think it's unique to you, but it's actually not. You have, Claire, the most common problem of people who are starting out selling services. They're good at what they do, so they get a few clients here and there, but you see what I'm saying? This is such a common problem. I want to see you overcome this. I'd love to see you crush this problem right now. This is
Me too.
I know you might, this is when
I'm
people,
just don't know.
I know when people are in your situation, I know I've coached hundreds of people through the exact same situation you're in. They feel they're like, yeah, I know he's right. I know he's saying this is true for me. I know he's saying that this has happened to thousands of people in my same situation, but I just kind of don't want to let go. I still want to try to offer everything to everybody. I don't want to niche down to one thing because I could be limiting myself. But I'd say choose that niche. Say IT companies, choose pharma. And if for some reason, which probably won't happen, you can always change it later. You can later change it to whatever, right? But don't let that prevent you from choosing a niche until you choose a niche
right.
and scale it to $10 million a year. Don't try to tackle multiple niches, okay?
Okay.
I got a lot of friends who have started lots of companies, and the rule of thumb is get to $10 million in one company before trying to serve another niche. So maybe you could have 5 companies that are each doing $10 million and you're serving 5 niches, but get one. Do you have a company getting that's at $10 million?
No,
Do you think
not
there's
yet.
$10 million in coaching and in building team productivity beyond yourself as a coach as you scale it up?
Hmm.
Right? So because how big's your company?
Big
It's
in
just
what way?
how many
Like,
people?
well, we work a lot with freelancers because we work with contracts. We don't
Right.
have a service 9 to 5 service, right? So it's there's professionals, artists, coaches, speakers, specialized professionals in certain
But who's
areas.
providing the
It's
service?
so diverse. So
Yeah. I know you're back to I try to offer services to everyone on the planet, but who is rendering the service?
well, mainly I'm the one who's kind of planning the strategic approach to the service
Okay.
and then dispatch it to whoever I need to have in order to do the program
All right.
or render
So
the service itself.
do this. Have you published your process and how you do it to where it can be a book or a series of blog posts and videos?
I have a book published
Okay.
on how to motivate your team and what tips
Okay.
and tricks and stuff like that.
Okay.
I do have not much into blogs, but more into videos.
They're all
I'm
the same
very
thing.
active on social media and stuff like that. So
Okay.
but we worked a lot with Fortune 500 companies,
Great.
so I mean, I'm thinking focus on Fortune 500 companies and not like pharmaceutical companies.
Fortune 500 companies is definitely a better than just we serve everybody. This is not you, Claire. You're not a singer,
Yeah,
are you?
that's me. But
Oh,
like
it is?
I'm a serial entrepreneur. There's a lot I do. This is just one of the things I do is team building. I'm also a speaker. I'm a singer-songwriter.
Is this you too on
And I
LinkedIn?
have 2 companies. So
Oh, look at
okay.
you.
Yes.
Okay, so where is this This MSP team building?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what you got. We've been talking theoretically. Let's look at your actual thing. Where's the, why is there no website link? Oh, here it is. Let's see, because the proof is in the pudding. So I can say, who does, everyone should do this. Like you can
This
give
is
whatever
great.
excuse you want, but it's nerve-wracking, is it?
Yes.
Who does MSP building serve? What do they do? Okay. And you could tell me all day long that all the stuff's out there and you have a book and whatever it is, but if I don't get the answer here, you did not do this. Okay. Like it doesn't count. You understand? Like I
Yeah,
know it
totally.
could be I mean, you have a knowledge panel, which is great, right? So I'm gonna also do it in Bard and ask the same question. If this is true, that like if what we want shows up, then that means you are repurposing and you're on your way to building lighthouses. If it doesn't show up for any of us here, and we do a search on who is so and so, your name, and what do they do? Okay. Okay, so this is good. Okay, and then just for fun, who runs this company, and do they have a book?
Oh my God.
Does it say Claire? Is this fun or hey, there it is.
Oh, yay! I did
Yeah,
something right. Jeez.
this is
I'm
good.
like
This
so
is good.
nervous.
Okay. And cracking the engagement code, building high performance teams in the age of distraction. Okay, that's great. Now, if you say Fortune 500, which is a code word for large companies who could pay a lot of money,
The hell
it
is
has
this?
one
That's not even my
review.
book, but
That's
I'd
not it.
love to have that book. That's not even my book.
Come on now.
This is so
We need
weird.
to SEO for this.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have it in
This
French as
one,
well. So
this
yeah,
one. Okay, you have one rating.
yeah.
Guess
I
what?
haven't pushed
You
it
have
at
another
all. I've been like
customer.
giving it away, and I haven't pushed it at all. But
Look, you have another sale.
oh,
Someone else just paid $4.82 for this.
thank you.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
Uh,
So, you should run dollar a day Amazon ads on this
right.
book. And let's see. Why is this? I'll follow you. Did you fill out your author profile on Amazon?
I did.
Okay, good. All right. Why are there no reviews?
I don't know. I guess I really didn't do much work on when I released the book, COVID hit and I dropped the ball on it, and I was
Uh,
just giving it away as like a marketing tool, as
uh-huh.
like a freebie for customers and stuff like
No,
that.
no, no.
But
You
I
need
pulled
to.
it out. I pulled it out like a couple of months ago, and no more giving it away. And I haven't
Okay.
really started my strategy on how to, push it.
Yeah. So Fortune 500 companies, those of you guys who serve big companies, they really, really care about the organizational cred. Okay.
Right.
Like we've done stuff with Nike, Microsoft, Starbucks. Like you can see, I'm, what I'm telling you is true. Like they care about all this like professional reputation stuff a lot. In fact, that's the difference between some random consultant versus like, oh, well, we hired Claire who spoke at this conference and wrote these things and all that. So you, oh, you need to fix this here. This is weak. You need to fix this in your
Yeah.
Author
Yeah.
Central
I
account.
just saw it. Yeah. Okay. I'm taking note.
Yeah. So you have a knowledge panel, which is good. But why is it? Huh. You didn't claim your knowledge panel.
No.
Yeah, you need to claim your knowledge panel before someone else, not like
Where
someone's going to come in and
where
try to
is
claim it
this
for you.
again? I'm sorry, I don't even know
So
what the knowledge
have
panel
you
is.
attended any of our sessions on this? I'm not offended if you haven't. We've covered this before in the last few months. So I searched your name here. So
Um,
your knowledge panel shows up. You see all these colored boxes? It's called a knowledge panel, right?
okay.
It's good. You don't have to be a celebrity to have a knowledge panel. You just have to follow the steps that we talked about. And if you're not sure what the steps are, this is the article I wrote, Unlocking the Power of Google Knowledge Panel. See, there's my knowledge panel, blah, 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 blah. Here's what you do. Okay.
Do you mind sharing that link in the chat, please?
Yeah. Okay. You could also ask ChatGPT and it will answer
Of
any
course, yeah,
question.
my best friend.
I kid you not. ChatGPT is like this friend of mine that I talk to just all
Yeah.
day. Okay.
Pretty
And yes,
much.
pay the $20 a month. Don't be cheap about it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I've been doing that since February. So
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay. So for your knowledge panel, how are people now just entering the room? Maybe do they know what time this thing is? We're actually over time, but we're still here. Okay. So where's our Google results? Okay, here it is. So you search on your name, and the key is if you have a knowledge panel, then scroll down a little bit to the right here underneath this little about. Oh, you know why you have your knowledge panel? The key thing. I mean, you have all the media and whatever. It's because you have clairehayek.com with the about. That's why. So that is what Google is treating as the canonical, like the
Oh,
URL that is Claire Hayek is your about page on your personal brand website, which is so smart. Good job. And then click on Claim the Knowledge panel, and then you have to get what's called Google Verified. So you go through, upload your ID, demonstrate that you actually are Claire. It'll ask you, why do you want to claim this knowledge panel? And then ChatGPT can answer, and you can literally say, like,
yeah.
Claire wants to claim her knowledge panel and get Google verified. What should she type into the box on why she wants to claim this profile, this knowledge panel? Sorry. Okay. So I'm using Google against itself, kind of, right? And then it says it writes you the whole answer. There it is. Go ahead and put it in. Oh, shoot. This doesn't say. All right. See, now that's not specific enough.
Yeah. I'll work on that. Not a problem.
Okay. Anyway, you see
I'm
what
pretty good
you
with
understand,
prompting.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
So
totally.
everyone here, not just Claire, we have to be super clear about the XYZ. So I help managers at Fortune 500 companies achieve team cultural fit, VMI, whatever the thing is that you're talking about in the book, right? You have some kind of thing. So the engage and mobilize your team. I imagine you have some sort of flow chart or diagram that shows the process and how it's done through other people to facilitate. So that's got to be.
This is not up to date.
Yeah, that's got to be. So publish a new edition.
Yeah.
And then get your friends to review it and buy it, and of course give it out to potential clients, which is the best selling point. Bring it to conferences. Do you have a speaker reel and other things for speaking?
I don't have it right now. It's not up to date. But I do have it under training/conferences on the website. Yeah.
Is this stock art? This looks like it.
It's Canva.
Oh, no. Real pictures, please. Yeah,
That's
this is
another challenge. It's
real pictures.
freaking hellish to get any authorization, and we're really like very good about it,
Public speaking, right? Dan
Hmm?
Yulin and I are going to Pakistan later this month to go speak at something, and we're going to take these pictures and videos and all that, and no one's going to know that it's from Pakistan. Okay, they're just going to see Dan's in front of a lot of people. I guess if you zoom into the audience, you'll see it's a bunch of Pakistanis. Be like, why is he? But it doesn't matter. The point is building the social proof, right?
Right.
So why is it, Claire, that having stock art is not good for social proof?
Yeah, this is not stock art. This
It's
one
not?
is not.
Okay. That's real? Okay.
Yeah, I tried minimizing as
Team
much
building.
as possible stock art, but I just ran out because
Okay.
I couldn't really find the right image with the right
No, I get it.
quality
I get it. But
and fitting the right size and a banner.
you have a podcast, so have a podcast. I want everyone to follow what Dan Yulin's doing. Have a podcast, interview these other managers on what they see as the future of teams, especially in a COVID AI environment, and bringing
Right.
people back. I don't know, whatever the issues are. You
Right.
interview them, and the key is you're interviewing them, and they happen to work at this Fortune 500 company, okay? We're
Right.
not saying it on behalf, like that's the opinion of Pfizer or whoever, you know what I'm saying? And then this here, remember what we just talked about, what Dan just explained? See here, it says, I don't mean to like be too harsh on you, Claire, but I just love using this as an example because you're still smiling.
It's okay.
Visit our YouTube channel today to view our latest customer testimonials. That's like pull my finger, right? And I'm going to fart on you. You see like why you don't want to say this?
Yeah, now I get it.
Okay. But that's cool. And no one wants to discover customer feedback or whatever. It's okay, testimonial. Don't do that. Reframe this. I'm not saying the videos are not good, but just reframe like this title. Who wants to watch this thing? New testimonial for MSP team building. How is that going to appeal to anybody, right? But
Yeah,
how so-and-so achieved this result,
right.
they were dealing with this kind of problem and how they overcame it. Like, oh, that's interesting, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, you got your 1-minute video. You have 10 views on it. You can repurpose the heck out of it. Okay. Yeah, you can do $1 ads against this as well to get more than 5 views.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what you need to do. Focus on the Fortune 500, which is higher ticket.
Yeah.
The enterprise sale, of course, when you're working with Fortune 500, there's always multiple people involved. There's a manager who finds you. There's like a VP who has to approve the thing. There's often a gatekeeper. You have to have several meetings. It's not just like one click Amazon buy the thing. You know that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But because there's many hurdles to organizational selling, you can charge a lot more
Yeah.
because that's how it works. And there's a book by Hyman and Miller called Enterprise Selling that talks about how to do that when there's multiple people involved. Most of us sell to a single individual, could be a business owner or a consumer, and then that person has decision-making authority. But with what you're doing, Claire, not that I need to tell you, it's a complex, multi-stage, often multiple months to hire you,
Yeah.
which is normal. So it's not like they just buy on the spot because it's a Black Friday deal, right? Because that you can charge more, but because the decision cycle takes months, you need to have enough social proof that this stuff shows up. And yes, you have multiple businesses, serial entrepreneur, but if they see Singer here, that they might think like, I don't know, right? Or maybe that's cool.
No, I honestly, this is my biggest problem right now is the branding, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
fine tune it, but
Okay, so you know what I'm saying here, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
It's been like my life story, my musician side of things undermining my credibility as an engineer, and then just my credibility as a musician was undermined by being an engineer, and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. And then of course I land into entrepreneurship, and here's the
Yeah.
challenge again. So the big thing would be how to brand all that. Just what I'm trying to do
Yeah.
through a talk.
So your topic wheel will allow you to manage multiple topics.
I'm sorry.
Your topic wheel,
Yeah.
having a topic wheel. So you're in the center of the wheel. So here, I'll just show. I know we're like way over time, but you guys are having fun, right? You're still here. So, okay. So when you build your topic wheel, and you can see like I demonstrate through my own example, so that way I'm not like making stuff up. So insert Claire, your face here, Dan Eulin's face, and you're a singer, you're a coach, you do these other things, right? And you have relationships with other people that you've interviewed, that that you've had them on your podcast, whatnot. And then depending on the context of when someone's searching or looking for you, you're feeding these items into Google, these different pieces of content, so that, even ChatGPT knows all about it, right? And then Google and TikTok and YouTube and whatnot, because they know who you are, the particular slice that people come in on, and they know who that person is. So they know about, managing people. And I've got all this stuff with Grant Cardone about how do you manage people. So people see that angle because that's the most relevant piece. So if they really love Grant Cardone, they're more likely to see me and Grant Cardone talking about how do you manage people and scale a business. But if you're an educator and you follow Dr. Karen Freeberg, who has the #1 book in all the universities on PR and social media, and you see Dr. Karen Freeberg and I, this, and that, you're not going to see the Grant Cardone content, right? You're going to see the content that's specific to how you come in. So your thing about relevancy, Claire, is a chicken and egg, because you do not appear to have enough co-created content with other people that allows Google to prioritize what to show people, because everyone's search results different, right?
Right.
So the chicken and egg is you need to put this structure in place to feed Google what it wants so that you don't have this issue of what's my brand identity.
Right.
It's okay to be a singer and an engineer and a team builder and an entrepreneur and all these things. It's okay to do that. You just, as far as I can tell, you've not organized it. Well, the center of your wheel is your About Me page.
Which is all about the singer-songwriter. It's like
Okay, so
the musician website, not even have anything to do with anything
yeah.
else.
So you did this to yourself. The reason why the Google search results and all this aren't what you want is because you told Google that this is what Google says. You saw this. This is the center of your knowledge panel.
Right.
This is what you told Google. So of course Google's going to show this.
Right.
The good news is you're in control.
Yeah.
So fix it, right?
Yes, I got work to do. I am
Yeah.
so excited. Thank
Was
you
that
so
helpful?
much.
Yeah.
Thank you very,
All
very
right.
much. Like way helpful.
Thank you, Claire.
Really
And then
appreciate it.
show up next time and let us know what happened. Yeah. Not just that you fixed it, but that when you talk to potential clients, that they treat you differently because they see the Claire that we want to show, right? You have many
Absolutely.
angles. That's the whole point of a topic wheel is there's many aspects of Claire, but we only want to show the one that's relevant to them, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, Claire. All right. Crazy money making lady. Making crazy
Hello.
money? Are you a crazy money making lady or are you a crazy money making lady?
I am all the above.
Okay.
So I can relate to everything that David was saying and Claire, and that's kind of, where
Okay.
I'm struggling as well. I'm very passionate about so many different things.
Uh-huh.
And I've done a lot of different things. Right now, typically I'm in the solar industry. However, I also an independent contractor with a business that's a product broker. And so
Okay.
basically at the time,
Are they
I
related in
was,
solar?
well, the one service with being a product broker is, it's a software system that helps people get out of debt.
Okay.
And I was using that with the solar aspect of it, and it worked great. But I'm not passionate about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
passionate about, I've always say I love helping people make money and save money. That's what I'm passionate
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you need to narrow down the niche, but I'm
Right.
struggling bad. Because I'm like, I feel like a lost puppy. I don't know which way to go,
Okay.
like, because I'm talking about so many
So
things.
you are confusing two things. One is the things that you do to help people make money and save money, right? Which is the whole pitch
Mhm.
behind solar, like, oh, have the electric company pay you and, save money and all this. And then to get out of debt, which are two sides of the same coin, as you know, because you like to help people. So the fact that you like to help people get out of debt and save money, it fits into this XYZ model. Those are separate things. So your niche is not what you do. So if we think about the people that you have served, who are those particular people? And is there a common theme about their background, about how they, like everyone, like let's say I sold solar, but people, and let's say we sold the same thing. There would be like different people would be attracted to you versus me versus Dan Yulin, right? Just because of how we are, even if we're selling the same thing. So think about the people that you really like hanging out with. And who doesn't want to get out of debt or, save
Mhm.
on solar, install
Where do I want
panels?
to
Like,
do that though? That's the thing. Like, I mean, the
you want
solar
to help
industry is just,
everybody? You don't get
but
stuck
with
on
my other, no, and that's the other part of my business though, is being a product broker.
uh-huh.
It's like a umbrella of basically all the industries, like the health and wellness, weight management, financial services, but you don't have to specialize in all that, but I do have access to all of it. So that's where
Yeah,
I
but
am
then you're MLM
struggling.
though, right? But then you're just like a distributor reseller.
Right.
And that's great that there's all these things that you can sell everything to everyone. So
But I don't
you
want to do
can't,
that though, because I
yeah,
know
you
that
can't. So
you don't
you
get
have to
anywhere doing
start,
that.
you have to start with one niche. So like you said, it's back to the last two folks on, right?
But can I at least, I mean, and again, I don't know if this would work
If
out,
you
but
try to like, there's all the rationalizations of trying to help everyone with everything, and that this
right.
just doesn't work. Unless you're Elon Musk and you have enough money, you can actually fund many companies that do more than 10 million each. But that's kind of the rule of thumb. You've got to be doing, if you have 3 businesses that are each doing 10 million each, at least, then yeah, you could start a 4th one. But until you get to at least one business with 10 million, don't be looking at these other things, because you'll just end up, is that the whole, like, chase 2 rabbits, catch none thing.
Right.
I promise you, like, I totally understand that this whole thing. And like, yes, but I could serve everyone on the planet. Yes, but just don't. This is the most common trap in entrepreneurship.
I
Don't
know,
fall
and
into
I'm
that trap.
struggling bad because I'm
Yeah.
passionate about so many different things, and I know like
But you got
I
to
need to
choose one
start
thing.
getting online.
I know, but if
know.
I choose this one thing, I'm saying no to all these other things. Yeah, I know it feels like that, but
I
you want to
mean, the
help more
main
people?
thing,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, no, the main thing is, when I'm talking to other business owners because of the different services that we offer, I'm like, well, depending on what business, they have, I can offer them the different services and increase their bottom line.
You can, but
So
focus
maybe
on
like a
one business
consultant,
type.
but
But don't
I know
focus on, see, you're trying to sell everything
I know.
to everyone. The best thing, you sell one thing to one kind of business, right? No, I want to sell everything to everyone because, we could talk about this and that. And there's also this person can be helped. And like,
Pretty money
I
making
can help
lady.
everyone. There's like nobody I can't help. Like, yeah. And so what happens in this kind of discussion is I say, sell one thing to one person. Yeah, but I could do this. And then pretty soon it's expanded to like the entire universe, right? So I get it. Like I promise you, I've had this discussion thousands of times. And you want to help more people, help one particular category of customer 1,000 times, right? Do that.
I don't know
And
what
have
that
do you have
category is.
documented proof of helping these other people?
Yeah.
Maybe it could be like one type of business. And then against that one type of business, you have like this entire range of things that you're a product, advocate for. But you really need to, I mean, ideally you can have one thing, sell one thing to one kind of customer. That's like the freaking magnifying glass that takes the sunlight and burns the paper, focus. You've heard all the stuff about focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't do that, or if you're just like not willing to do that, then what's that one very, very type of specific business? You're not
For
trying to
me,
be Walmart, right? Don't be Walmart or Charles Schwab or whoever, right?
I think for me, because I'm when I tell you I'm struggling bad, I'm struggling bad with it.
But
But I
there's a
feel like
problem here, right?
yes,
Can you imagine if Dan Hewlin said, I'm going to help everyone on the planet be more successful, whether you're large or small, get in every school. I mean, it could be high school. I mean, heck, the stuff that I teach on these kids getting the best colleges, that'll work even if they're professionals. That'll work even if they're in like middle school. I mean, why wouldn't you start them in middle school and high? I mean, and pretty soon it just evolves into like, I want to help the entire planet with everything.
So how's that
Right.
different? Like if you're, you help brand people in their businesses, how's that different than kind of what I'm saying, like with products and services versus like
Well,
if
how do you
you
measure?
focus on branding a
So I'll ask you 2
company?
questions. How do you measure the value of what you create? And B, how much are you doing per month?
Not enough.
Okay, so then why not win the video game on easy mode? Beat the computer at level 1. If you can beat the computer at level 1, then you can go to level 2. And you're not making much money. You don't need to tell me the number, but it's clearly not enough.
Yeah, not
And you're
enough.
trying to play the video game at level 99.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you play at level 99? Dan Hewlin and I were talking about playing on level 1. Why wouldn't you? I love playing on level 1. Oh, it's not fair. You keep beating them. Yeah, I love to win. Why not just play on level 1 and win all day?
Okay.
Your issue's so simple. It's unbelievable. This is great news. If this is some like difficult problem and we have to Sherlock Holmes it and we still can't figure it out, then I would be worried, but I'm not worried because you got this. You just got to pick. Think of the businesses that you've served or consumers that you've served. Of all of them, I'm sure you got a lot of happy people.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make a list of the top 5 or 6 and interview them on Zoom like Dan Euland has done? And then from that sort of suss out a pattern of what is it about those businesses? There's something about the kind of business they are or the issue they have or the vertical they're in. Like there's something that allows you to niche down. You have those success stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think you can make a list of 5 or 6 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you can get them on Zoom and interview them about their story and call it your, mad money making podcast, whatever? Do you think you could do that?
Yeah, I'm sure I
Okay.
could. Yeah.
And do you think you could then hire a VA or someone on Upwork or something to repurpose those into the podcast and YouTube and whatnot?
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, figure out kind of the common theme of what is it that those businesses say before they sign up with you? What is it those businesses say after they've achieved success? They say a certain phrase, which you may or may not have recorded. But you'll find if you actually do the research on your customers, they say certain things. There's certain phrases for all of us. There's certain phrases you need to listen real carefully. Run the Zoom recording through ChatGPT and say, what are the common phrases and pain points that my clients are using? Because I'm going to turn around and use those exact words in my marketing.
Well, I don't know if this is the same exact thing, but I know that one of the common themes is they know and trust me. I'm
But
not
why?
gonna,
There's certain words that reveal that. There's certain things about you that reveal that. You have
because I
to
care
really,
about them and not trying to get a sale.
and I believe that's true, but there have to be specific elements that back that up. Yes, no, like, and trust, and they believe you're authentic and
Mhm.
really care, all of that. But who doesn't, right?
Right.
Who here on this call doesn't love their customers and really care and all that, right? I'm not saying yours isn't authentic. I'm just saying it's got to have
Right.
the specific elements of what your customers are saying about you. And that's where the success stories come in.
Okay.
Yeah, get real specific. You're so vague that you're up at like 50,000 feet. There's like no oxygen up there. You got it.
That makes sense.
But the steps I just told you, can you take those steps and then post actually right now in that Facebook group, the whole Shorten the Gap Facebook group thing? Can you just post what you're agreeing to do? Just post it right now,
Mhm.
and let's all hold you accountable.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
going
I
to be
just
stuck in this
started the
thing.
program, so
Fantastic. So no better way than to introduce yourself and hold yourself accountable. Hey guys, I'm new in this program. This is what I've been struggling with. This is what I agreed that I'm going to do. And I want you guys to hold me accountable to this because I know a lot of you guys are struggling with the same thing. Let's hold each other accountable here, shall we? I'm going
Mhm.
to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is
Sounds like a
recorded. So if
plan.
you don't remember what I said, we, just go back and hit the
Yeah.
replay, right? Okay. Yeah,
Thank you.
Michelle
I
said fit there a
greatly
lot.
appreciate your time.